Celebrity endorsements, do they matter? And do they really have an impact on voter turnout? Well, it appears that Taylor Swift has finally decided to make an endorsement. And of course, as you probably guessed, she is endorsing Kamala Harris. Let's go ahead and get into that. And then we're going to explain how a couple of celebrities are choosing not to make an endorsement at all. Let's dive in here.
Taylor Swift on Instagram endorsed the Harris Walls ticket. She says she's doing it because Harris, quote, fights for the rights and causes I believe need a warrior to champion them. I think she is steady-handed, gifted leader, and I believe we can accomplish so much more in this country if we're led by calm and not chaos. I was so heartened and impressed by her selection of running mate Tim Walz, who's been standing up for LGBTQ plus rights, IVF, and a woman's right to her own body for decades. She goes on to say, I've done my research, I've made my choice, your research is all yours to do. Interestingly, she signs it with love and hope, Taylor Swift, childless, cat lady, and
pause there for a second. So Taylor Swift said in her endorsement that she did her research. So does that mean she did her research about Kamala's statements about October 7th? Did she do her research around that, or does she just not care? Did she do her research about fracking, how Kamala's flip-flopped on that? It seems like the endorsement from Taylor Swift is mainly about women's rights, right? Mainly about like bodily autonomy, according to the statement that she gave. So how much research did she really do?
An allusion to Senator J.D. Vance, Donald Trump's running mate, insulting Democrats as childless cat ladies.
And she was holding a cat in that photo.
The name of the cat, I've been reliably informed, is Olivia Benson.
Well, one of her cats was Olivia Benson. I cannot confirm that the cat she was holding in that picture is Olivia Benson. But I guarantee you, we will hear from many Swifties out there. But let's just talk about what this means.
What does it mean? What is the significance of a celebrity endorsement?
It's not just a celebrity endorsement.
One of the biggest celebrities in the world.
The biggest celebrity in the world. But it's not just that she's a celebrity. She has people who are, like Swiftologists. There are people who are young people, young women, who might not already be engaged in politics, who read and listen to every single thing that she says and love her. And if she makes a difference, even on the margins, in a race like this, that is a huge difference. This was the endorsement that the Harris campaign, they were hoping for more than anything else.
Isn't this a really sad country that we live in, where people rely on the opinions of celebrities to decide whether or not what they're going to do politically, how they're going to vote? Isn't that really sad? Here's something I want everyone to think about for a second. Taylor Swift, who is a billionaire, is constantly praised by corporate media. And a lot of people run around and people love Taylor Swift. I'll tell you, they love her. They love this woman. It kind of reminds me like when I was younger and people were crazy about Madonna. Everybody remember this? People were crazy about Madonna and all that kind of stuff. But people love this woman. People they will wait forever to get tickets to her concerts. But at the same time, I think it's one thing to be an entertainer. I think it's something different when we're talking about politics and we're talking about policy and how it's going to affect everyone's lives. If I were a celebrity, I would not give endorsements. I would stay out of that and just say, let people decide on their own. And you're going to see from a couple people that decided to say just that. But it's weird to hear a corporate media commentator sit here and say, this is the endorsement that Kamala Harris's campaign so desperately needed it. Why? And what type of society have we developed? Who are we as people in this country if the American people rely on a celebrity telling them what to do before they do something? What are we doing? I sincerely have said this to myself before, and I was like, if I ever have kids, I will teach them not to look up to celebrities, but to look up to people who are helping people who are building communities, people who are getting their hands dirty, really out there helping and doing something to better people in society, not someone who's singing up on a stage. Doesn't mean you can't have entertainment. Doesn't mean you can't, go to concerts. I do those things too. But I think there's a difference between, enjoying that and looking to this person for your every move that you're going to make. Because the reality is, Taylor Swift did her own research. Everybody else should do their own research too. It shouldn't matter that this celebrity endorsed this politician to get you to come out. And I saw people making videos on social media. They were dancing around and saying, I'm officially a Swiftie now. I love this. I'm going to come out and support Kamala because a celebrity told you to. So it just makes you wonder, what have we become as a society in this country? Does Taylor Swift have any experience with policy? Has Taylor Swift run for office? Has Taylor Swift done, you know what I'm saying? So why are people taking her advice about who they should vote for? Let's continue.
No one will ever say no to a Taylor Swift endorsement. I 100% agree with that. I think it's significant it is always significant to have the most powerful force in pop culture on your side. The one contrarian view I will say is that in this moment, the thing the Harris campaign needs perhaps the most is to figure out how to reach men. They've got to figure it out here in Pennsylvania. They've got to figure out how to reach Black men. And I'm not sure Taylor Swift helps them with that. It's a totally different ball game that Taylor Swift is in, but they've got to figure that part out.
Travis Kelce, on the other hand.
Maybe if Travis Kelce comes around, we'd be having a different conversation. But I think that it's just important to remember that, especially in this Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, that is just, it's a give and take here, where you gain some and you lose some, and she really needs to start gaining.
I don't want to rush us off the Taylor Swiftology discussion, but I do want to. There is another piece of news, which is that
we can pause it there. So I want to just say this as well. So Taylor Swift did give that endorsement to Kamala Harris. Again, Taylor Swift is a billionaire. No, this is not Sabs just, trying to hate on Taylor Swift. I've said the same thing about Rihanna. These people who are billionaires, I don't look up to billionaires. I don't praise billionaires. You become a billionaire by exploiting the worker. So when people say, oh, yay, Taylor Swift is the way to go, Taylor Swift, at some point during her career, probably not necessarily in her musical career, but in her business career, at some point she exploited the workers. They may not have been American workers. They could have been workers in the global South, workers abroad, but that's how you get there. So we need to stop cheerleading and applauding billionaires, period. It is what it is, especially if you're pro-worker. However, there is something to be said about this endorsement, because this happened right after she made the endorsement. More than 337,000 people visit Taylor Swift's link to register to vote. So her making that just quick endorsement on Instagram quickly prompted over 300,000 people to click on the voter registration link. So it says here, the General Services Administration, which oversees the website, confirmed to NBC News that as of 2 p.m. Eastern Wednesday, 337,826 people had visited a custom URL that Swift posted on Instagram when she announced she was endorsing Kamala Harris. That's a lot of people in a short amount of time. And it says the custom URL directs people to vote.gov, a website that helps visitors register to vote in their states. The site also breaks down America's voting rights, explains election process, and provides a roadmap to frequently asked questions. That post received more than 9.6 million likes. So that says a lot. And I would assume, we don't know, but considering that she endorsed Kamala and she put the link there, I would assume the people who clicked on that link are registering to vote for Kamala. That's the assumption we can make there. Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy how like a celebrity can tell, but not everyone. some celebrities are choosing not to give an endorsement, and we have 3 of them that we're going to show you. We're going to start off with NFL quarterback Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs, who does not want to give an endorsement.
Former President Trump referenced you and your family again today on Fox News in relation to his campaign. I just wonder what your reaction is to seeing that.
Yeah, I think I've always said I don't want my place and my platform to be used to endorse a candidate or do whatever. Either way, I think my place is to inform people to get registered to vote. It's to inform people to do their own research and then make their best decision for them and their family. And so I think that's every time I'm on this stage and I get asked these questions, I'm going to refer back to that because I think that's what makes America so great.
I think it was important, though. I don't know if important is the right word, but when you were at the U.S. Open this past weekend and you guys were there with Taylor and Travis, I mean, is that an important image to show that, you know, people who may have different philosophies can...
Yeah, I mean, I think I've always, even dating back, I think if you've seen my history, I've grown up with people from every aspect of life and every background. And I think the best thing about a football locker room and kind of how I've grown up in baseball locker rooms, everything about that is people can come together and achieve something and achieve a common goal. And I think if we can, I mean, we talked about it a while back, but I think if we can do that as a nation, I think we can get the best out of each other. And so I think that's something that I do every single day. And whenever I'm hanging out with whoever, I'm not thinking about their political views or anything like that. I'm thinking about the people and how they treat other people. And I was with a lot of great people this weekend.
Have you ever thought specifically about the idea of President Trump bringing up Brittany's name? Does that affect you one way or another?
No, I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's about me and my family and how we treat other people. And I think you see is that Brittany does a lot in the community. I do a lot in the community to help bring people up and give people other opportunities to use their voice. And so it's in the political times, people are going to use stuff here and there. But I can't let that affect how I go about my business every single day and live my life and try to live it to the best of my ability.
Patrick Mahomes, I think, is probably, you know, he's a young guy, but he's so smart, very smart guy. And I think he went about this the right way, just being like, yeah, it's not my job to tell people who to vote for. All I can do is encourage people to register to vote. Now, it was recently reported that his wife liked a post about voting for Donald Trump or something like that. And he got pushed back about that because his wife liked a post about supporting Donald Trump. It's really crazy. I remember a long time ago, like back in the day, like who you voted for wasn't a public thing, right? Especially like before like social media. But I think he took the right approach. I think he has a good head on his shoulders. I'm gonna knock on wood because I've said that before about other professional athletes and things didn't turn out too well later on down the line. So I'm gonna knock on wood there. But Usher also is not willing to give an endorsement. Listen to this.
That in this emergency that we're in, I think that the Who's artists should come out and speak for Kamala against Donald Trump because he is an existential threat to the country. What do you say to that?
You know what? I don't get too deep into politics. I didn't get a chance to watch the debate last night. I obviously have been watching like everybody else. I think voting is an individual choice. And I think that you're right. You have to look at the reality of the country that we are and the country that we want to be. And find the candidate that you feel both are who fits the category of where we want to be. And that's it. And that's what you vote based off of. Who you highlight and how you choose to highlight it on whatever platform you have is your prerogative.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that's well said there from Usher as well. And what he said there, he was saying that he didn't watch the debate and he doesn't get too deep into politics. To be honest to you guys, like that's what I hear from a lot of people. Like most people that I've heard from did not watch the debate at all. Most people that I know are not really into this deep into politics like that. So I can relate to what he said there. And then there's another one. Caitlin Clark also did not want to endorse anyone. Listen to her response.
Caitlin, you liked an Instagram post last night from Taylor Swift that got a lot of attention. And I'm just curious if you could tell us what that post meant to you and if you are in fact potentially going to endorse Kamala Harris. Thank you.
I think for myself is, I have this amazing platform, so I think the biggest thing would be just to encourage people to register to vote. I think for myself, this is the second time I can vote in an election. At age 22, I could vote when I was 18, so I think do that. That's the biggest thing I can do with the platform that I have, and that's the same thing Taylor did. And I think continue to educate yourself with the candidates that we have, the policies that they're supporting. I think that's the biggest thing you can do, and that's what I would recommend to every single person that has that opportunity in our country.
No, Scott.
Caitlin.
So I think, again, well said there. Very young, but has figured it out. Like, I don't want to go on record saying to endorse for anybody. And honestly, I think what's weird to me is when it comes to professional athletes, I don't remember the press asking celebrities, or maybe not celebrities. I don't remember the press asking professional athletes who they were voting for when I was growing up. I don't remember the press asking like Michael Jordan or Shaquille O'Neal, like who they were voting for. And it just goes to show you how things have changed. It's really interesting. And maybe that's because of the social media world that we live in. But maybe that's part of it. I don't know. Notori, I see your comment, man. Notori said, she said that mofo still look good. Usher looks like he doesn't age. I don't know if I was never attracted to Usher in that way, but to me, he looks like he doesn't age. Like he's like Pharrell. You know how there was that meme going around that said Pharrell was a vampire? Remember that? Remember he said Usher doesn't age. And I bet you if he were to shave off the mustache, there's a mustache now. I don't know what he's doing there. Now he got a mustache. If he were to shave the mustache and shave off the facial hair, the little chin hair, whatever you guys want to call this thing, he doesn't really age. Like he still looks the same like he does in the confession video. I don't know. These are my confessions. I love that album, by the way. I love that one. Robbie said, stealing men, wives, and girlfriends. We got to have some fun on this show. We got to have a little bit of fun. Eric, we can go to part 2 for the tight fantasy. Christian says, Sabby, don't forget black don't crack. He still look the same. All right, let's go to some of the comments here. Thank you, Susanna. Don't you think some of the questions were given to Kamala Harris beforehand? Her answers were just too quick and coherent. Some answers seem memorized. Do I think that? Yeah. Do I have evidence of that? Nope. I thought the same thing. Thank you, Dwayne. Kamala lost. Voting for Kamala is like drinking a bottle of Drano because you like the color of the bottle. Thank you, Trusting Success. Hey, Sabby, it would be a game changer if Beyonce endorsed Trump, but we know that'll never happen. Yeah, that'll never happen. Has she endorsed? I don't think she's endorsed Kamala. Thank you, Nexus. Swifties also wear diapers at her shows so they don't miss a second of the concert. Google it. This country is doomed. Wow. That's what we've come to now as a society. Cynical, been a member for 4 months. Stars are not leaders. They are a distraction from the reality that goes on in the world. We are now brainwashed to avoid our own opinion. Keeping it real cynical. Thank you, Dwayne. Celebrities are vacuous. They have to be to appeal to the lowest common denominator. Frank, Sabby, I think some celeb endorsements can be good. For example, an actual activist celeb like Susan Sarandon is a good endorsement to get a presidential candidate. And New York Varsity says, let's be clear, I only knew about the debate because of your show. Like, that's the thing I'm telling people, and not trying to toot my own horn here or anything, but most people were not like, oh, let me watch this debate. That's just the reality. And Cloudness, who's been a member for 4 months. Sabby Sabs, I shaved my beard and I look like I'm in my 20s and get carded for backwoods. Cloudness is bringing it back.